moments right here, right now, to talk to Dr. Andy McLean, UND Department of Behavioral Sciences and Dean of Campus Wellness. And we've had opportunities to talk to him here on KFGO. I mean, dating back to the flood and through COVID and now this shooting on the streets of Fargo, which resulted in 3 people, one dead and 2 dead, and 2 still in the hospital. The shooter and the police victim. It's a time to talk to Dr. McLean again. Thank you for joining us here on KFGO.
Thanks, Jack.
So when you hear of news like this in your realm of thinking and your what you do for a living, what does something like this have to do with our wellness on campuses or off?
Well, I think, watching the community's response, we know that there are certainly traits of resilient communities, and that includes strong leadership, the ability of them to engage their citizens, good use of resources, but also attending to psychosocial issues. And I think, with our history in the past, with the floods, with other crises, I think our community leadership does a good job in pulling people together when there are crises and disasters.
When a specific neighborhood is affected by something like this, the countryside mobile home courts, community homes in Fargo, and the accompanying residential neighborhoods, with such a police presence, what should parents tell one another, and what should they tell their high school students and on down?
Well, I think, listening to the authorities certainly and getting a sense of, is there any imminent danger? Is that, no longer the issue? I think certainly for kids, it really depends on the age. Certainly teenagers, they know what's going on. Younger kids may have more difficulty. Sometimes you see regressive behaviors in terms of difficulty sleeping, trouble with bedwetting with younger kids, et cetera. So I think, recognizing the age of the child, what they can understand, and then being honest about them, letting them know that they are safe, letting them know that they are, you are there for them, and that, the people that are in charge are doing everything that they're supposed to be doing to keep everybody safe.
I wonder about the minds of college age and high school students, because I recall very recently a mass shooting at a university, and one of the students who escaped safely was a lady who had been in a mass shooting in an elementary school, and so they've grown up with this. What does that do to the psyche?
Well, I think that there's no doubt that, this generation has had to deal with more of those issues. Bringing up that particular case, Jack, of the young woman who had actually been in a similar experience, there are different ways that people will respond if they've been in disasters or crises before, dangerous situations before. Some will have a recurrence of the anxiety, the PTSD, et cetera. Some will actually have gotten some mastery, so have learned of ways of dealing with this over time, and they're able to utilize those skills. That might mean having had formal therapy. That might mean just learning different healthy ways of dealing with stresses. And so it really can be an individual thing. I think you bring up a point too about the age. With teenagers and young adults, that cohort is obviously really important. They oftentimes are more important than parents at that time. They really depend on each other. And so in this age of, COVID and Zoom and us not being in person, connecting with others has been more difficult. And I think we certainly know that part of resilience is, social connectedness is really key.
And a major portion of social connectedness now is the internet, and
right,
and some of the subsequent reinforcements or support, reinforcements of the horror or support for it can come from those media.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I, with all due respect to you and the media, we need to get information that is helpful, but we don't want to just bombard ourselves with that, ongoing information that can bring us down a rabbit hole that cannot be healthy. And so, I think it is really important to have moderation and to be cautious about, spending too much time with any sort of media, because that's really, it's not the real world. We have to be out there in the community doing what we love to do. And so, it gets to be a very biased situation when we just sit at our laptops and watch the media, whether it's social or otherwise.
One thing we don't want is for people to become inured to this, and just
right.
learning to live with unpleasantness or ignore it.
Right, and so that's why I think it's important, to be active, to find something to do. Not only the usual things that that we have, the exercise, having supper with family, etc., but doing something productive for the community, and that may have nothing to do with this most recent incident, or it might. Many people have made donations. Others, it might be a matter of going out and checking on an elderly neighbor, going out and picking up garbage. Just doing something productive, giving people something to do can be very healing as well.
Well, and words from you are very healing as well. I want to thank you very much for joining us, Doctor. Is it McLean or McLean? I'm sorry. I think I know.
It's McLean.
Okay. UND Department of Behavioral Sciences and Dean of Campus Wellness. And a pleasure to talk to you again, sir. And we'll probably do so in the future.
All right. Take care, Jack.
It's 5:23. This is the Drive Time News Hour.